Hi, everybody. My name is Angelique, also known as The Light. And today I'm going to do a video about my chemical pregnancy experience that I had back in January 2025. Please be kind in the comments because this is something that I'm still healing from and trying to understand why something like this even happened to me. I said, let me hurry up and get on camera while I'm in a good mood to do this video where I feel like I could talk about it. When I went to go search for videos on chemical pregnancy, I saw some, but a lot of them were like years ago. I don't know, is it something that many women online are not talking about on YouTube? But I did like that when I went to go watch the videos, sometime, the videos were at 6 or 9 or 10 years old, but when I went to go look or check them on their YouTube account or their Instagram, I saw that they had successful pregnancies after experiencing chemical pregnancy. So a chemical pregnancy is basically when you have a positive pregnancy test and then within 3 to 4 weeks you miscarry and your period shows up. Maybe your period is late, or you do get your period on time and your period seems weird. It's not like a normal period, and that is what happened to me. So towards the end of 2024, I rekindled with an ex-lover, and in January we were intimate for the first time after 4 years. I know it sounds crazy, and I didn't think to use precaution or anything like that, and that is because I have never been pregnant ever in my life. Okay, I'm 41 and I have never been pregnant. I got diagnosed with PCOS and endometriosis. I think that's how you pronounce it. When I was 21. So in my 20s, my cycle was irregular. It was more regular, but there was sometimes when I was under stress, my cycle would skip months, right? And even back then, I didn't play that in my 20s. My mom passed away when I was 23. So I made sure not to get pregnant even when I was ovulating, because I felt like I didn't have a support system if I was going to have a child. I was still healing. My dad died when I was 20. My mom died when I was 23. My siblings, they're not good people. So I just couldn't picture myself being a mother. Even though I was dating someone at the time who wanted to marry me, I couldn't picture myself even being a wife and mom without having my mom or having my dad and having family pretty much. And I decided to avoid pregnancy in my 20s. Even in my 30s, I changed in my 30s where I became a spiritualist and I started practicing more of celibacy, and I made sure to avoid pregnancy even in my 30s. Now, it switched in my 30s. When I turned 30, I started to have complications with my cycle, where 2 occasions my cycle came and stayed for 6 months straight. So it was the total opposite, where I was over bleeding, hemorrhaging, and even had to get blood transfusions because I was hemorrhaging. But then once I started to lose weight, started to eat better, stopped drinking so much also, because when you have PCOS, you cannot eat certain foods, you cannot be drinking liquor, smoking, doing all these different things, because it would trigger your PCOS symptoms, right? So I noticed that as the years started to go by in my 30s, I was ovulating more, my cycle became normal. And I would say my cycle is normal since maybe 2022. It's been like normal, meaning like I ovulate like clockwork. My cycle comes on time. If my cycle is supposed to come on the 29th, it's going to come on the 29th, basically. And I find that very interesting because now that I'm 41, I'm thinking that my period is going to slow down, my ovulation is going to slow down, but instead it seems like my body is more fertile. That one, I've lost 85 pounds since 2022, And also, I guess it's my body saying, girl, hurry up, get pregnant. So, even my doctor, when I started to lose weight, and even my gynecologist told me, like, you're fertile, you're ovulating on time, so you might be able to, like, get pregnant, pretty much. But I didn't take it seriously. But yeah, so I was intimate with my lover the beginning of January for the first time after us being apart from each other for 4 years, okay? And I wasn't thinking about, oh, this person's gonna get me pregnant. That never crossed my mind at all. I didn't really think about it. But the day after I was intimate with my lover, something told me, check your Flow app. So the Flow app, you can do a lot on the Flow app, but mostly I use it to track my period and my ovulation. And I looked at the app and my mouth dropped. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. We were intimate yesterday. Today is my ovulation day. And I said in my head, I was just like, what? Like, nah. Like, I said to myself, like, nah, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. I didn't really even, I was psyching myself out pretty much, right? So I wrote down everything that I was going through that I wouldn't forget. And because I started to notice I was feeling completely different, like I never felt before, all right? So we were intimate the day before my ovulation. I checked the app. And I was like, nah, psyching myself out. Like, no, there's no way I could have got pregnant last night, basically, I'm gonna say, so here it says January 5th was my ovulation. I started feeling nausea by January 9th. So that's like 6 days after ovulation. And I know I was seeing a lot of videos of women like, oh, you can't feel no early symptoms. Absolutely not true. I feel like those women are not spiritually in tune with their bodies or physically in tune with their bodies. And there's going to be a lot of things that go on with conception that doctors will never be able to tell you, okay? And after this experience, I realized that conception is instant, right? To me, conception is instant. I felt it basically almost instantly, right? So by 6 days after my ovulation, I started to feel nauseous. And I was like, why am I so nauseous? What is going on with me? 7-8 days after ovulation, I started to see, sorry, this video is not for men, discharge. I started to see discharge. Normally my discharge is clear. I'm not a person that at the end of the day, I look at my underwear and there's something in my underwear. And if it is, it's literally clear like water. But this time I started to see like a milky substance. And I was like, what's that? I am not supposed to be seeing any substance in my underwear. What is this? So I started to see milky substance, discharge. It had no scent. That's what it says on this paper. It had no scent. So now we're going into, I guess, 10 days after ovulation, right? Bad cramps. These cramps felt like period cramps, but milder. Kind of like little stabs and not consistent, just like little. And it was lower. Like, to me, I feel like when I have cramps for my period, it kind of feels like maybe above the belly button. But these cramps were just lower. And I was like, whoa, what is that? And I was just like, is it possible that my period could come early? But how can my period come so early when I just ovulated? So I was like, oh, maybe, me being intimate, maybe it's bringing on my period sooner. Like, I was making up all these different things in my head, right? So I'll say 10, 11 days after ovulation, I'm losing my appetite. I'm losing my appetite. Then I started to notice I was going to the bathroom and my stool was soft. So I'm like, my stool is soft, right? So I go and I watch some videos because now I'm like, wait a minute, I'm having weird symptoms, right? Loss of appetite, discharge, um, soft stool, and then everyone is saying in their video, like, oh, I had constipation, I had constipation. As soon as I said, oh no, I don't have constipation, the very next day I was constipated. And I was like, no. I said, I can't watch any more of these videos because now I'm getting scared, right? So then I noticed another form of discharge, which probably was the implantation blood. So from January 5th and by January 13th, I guess, I went to the bathroom to urinate and I noticed a light pink substance on my tissue when I went to go wipe. And I was like, what? Am I getting my period early? This is crazy. My period is not supposed to come until either the end of the month or like the beginning of next month, because it will do that. Sometimes it may come a little bit, it may switch. You know how your period decides to like switch over. So I noticed that I had this light pink discharge, right? And then the loss of appetite thing, it almost seemed like I was starting to like gag a little bit. I noticed that. Instantly, I noticed also I drink wine during the week. Something in my soul was like, don't drink any wine. I didn't drink any wine. So as the month is going by, I'm not drinking any wine. I'm the type to go get a bottle of red wine and it'll last me like maybe 3 or 4 days, right? I wasn't craving alcohol. I wasn't craving wine, anything like that. Candles stunk so bad to me. I love candles. I light my candle. I lit my candle and it was so funky. Scents that I loved was funky. I light a different candle. That stunk. Perfumes, body sprays, people's body odor in the street. I literally had to get up. It was like my sense of smell heightened. I already got a big nose and I can smell everything, but my sense of smell just increased. I remember being on the bus and going like that because the man in front of me stunk so bad. I literally had to get up and go to the back of the bus and I could not be around him. Another thing I noticed that was so weird, men was smiling at me more and flirting. And I wasn't going outside looking dolled up or anything like that because at this time I was unemployed. I had my at-home business, but I wasn't working the job I work now. And I remember like going outside. I had no makeup on. I wasn't dressed up. And men were just like smiling at me, gazing at me, complimenting me. I got on the bus. Even the bus drivers is saying, oh, you look nice. And I love your earrings. And I just noticed that men were approaching me and looking at me a lot more. Sharp back pain. When I tell you the back pain it was bad. You know how like when you have your period and you get that cramp that goes from your butt crack and it shoots all the way up into your back? That's how it felt. But the back pain was more lower. It wasn't up here near my shoulders or in the middle. The back pain was right at the bottom near the butt crack. It was a very sharp pain. It was so bad that there was some nights that I had to put pillows and kind of just like sleep like that because that's how bad it was. To go sit down on the toilet hurt. I was in so much pain. My lower back was killing me. To walk, I was walking like an old lady. That's how bad it was. Okay. Pay attention to that. It was such a shooting sharp pain in my back. One day I just said, ah, like that. It was like just pulsating pain. And I have back pain normally, but it never feels like that. It was so intense it feels like someone's stabbing you in your lower back, that I screamed out loud because that's how painful it was. Runny nose. Didn't have a cold, didn't have a fever. And the reason why you're going to have like cold symptoms is because your immune system is breaking down, right? So your body is a foreign object the baby is going to be developing. So your immune system has to calm down and allow the baby to develop. So you're going to sometimes get cold symptoms. I'm a person that never gets sick. I take a lot of vitamins and herbs and things like that. So, I mean, I was blowing my nose. I had to run out and buy boxes of tissue, and I just kept running. I kept blowing my nose and having to take tissue with me in public, and it was nothing else. No sneezing, no coughing, just a runny nose. So if your nose is running, you're having cold symptoms, you're feeling like, am I catching a cold? What is this? That's definitely your hormones are changing. The baby needs to develop and your body is going through it, and you're going to have these cold symptoms. This is something that's not a symptom, but I found it interesting. I ended up going to the GYN doctor just for I think a pap smear. That's what happened. I went to the GYN doctor and she looked at me, and it's weird because she never asked me, are you pregnant? And she looked at me and she said, are you pregnant? And I said, no. And she said, are you sure? And I said, yes. It almost was like God, universe was trying to tell me that I was pregnant, but I just wasn't catching on, right? I went to the library. This is something else that is not a physical symptom, but you're going to have God, universe telling you you're pregnant, letting you know. So I went to the library and I rented or borrowed a DVD. And when I watched the movie, the woman in the movie, she had PCOS and she was having complications and getting pregnant. And I was like, this is not a coincidence. Why would I randomly just pick this Christmas movie? I would never think that this topic would even be in a Christmas movie, to where one woman gets pregnant in a movie and the other woman was having complications because she had PCOS. I was freaked out. By this time, I'm a very spiritual person, so I was getting freaked out by this time. My friend of mine started talking about pregnancy and asking me questions. This friend even hit me up and said that they had a dream that I was pregnant. That's when I said, okay, this is strange, and I took a pregnancy test. So, I take a pregnancy test and it comes back positive, right? And the lines were faint, but I was still pregnant, right? Because you can take pregnancy tests and you will see faint lines or you'll see bright bold lines. I didn't buy the pregnancy test where it says pregnant or not pregnant. I ordered some pregnancy tests for $6 off of Amazon. They work just fine. And that pregnancy test came back positive. Now I am no longer in denial, right? I'm no longer in denial at this point, and I'm just like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm disappointed in myself, I'm in shock, I'm feeling all these crazy emotions, right? Also, what I noticed when I was listening to the women in their video, they said that they were having vivid dreams. Now, one of my spiritual gifts is dreaming. And what was crazy was that whole month, my dreams were black. I would go to sleep and I would see pitch black like my shirt. I wasn't seeing anything, no colors, no people, nothing. This also worried me because I was just like, why am I pregnant? But yet I'm seeing nothing but black. Why wouldn't, I be getting colorful dreams or dreams of my baby or what's going to happen? And, I'm not getting any outcome. And I'm a person that dreams of other people's births. I'm a person who even dreams of people before they die. I was seeing completely black. And that's when I said to myself, am I going to miscarry? Because why am I just seeing black? And it was a real emotional feeling, because it was just like, why? Why does this have to happen to me? This is my first pregnancy, and why is this being taken from me? You know, so it was a weird feeling to kind of know before it actually happened. But I talked myself into saying, no, don't worry, you're gonna go to the doctor, you'll figure this out, but let's just wait to see to the end of the month if your period will show up. So my friend did contact me, and she's like, oh, I had this dream that you were pregnant in the wintertime. And I just kept kind of quiet. I said, well, I don't really know, girl. I'll get back to you. I wanted to see if my period was going to show up and what was going to happen. And what happened next? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So going towards the end of the month when my period is supposed to come, that's when I started to see watery discharge. I woke up very sweaty, like soaking wet, sweaty. I noticed that. I started to get horrible headaches, right? As the miscarriage is approaching, I started to get horrible headaches. And then one day I just got a boost of energy out of nowhere. And then I looked it up, and I said, I Googled, should you feel a boost of energy when you're pregnant? And most of the answers said no. And that's when I was just like, this is strange. Why am I getting a boost of energy? I was finally able to eat, because most of the time throughout this whole month, I was eating soup, guys. That was all I could eat. I remember going to a restaurant, my favorite pho place, and I ordered beef pho, and I could not finish it. I felt like I was going to vomit. That's when the gagging stopped, the nausea stopped, craving the sweets stopped. I was extra thirsty too. I began to be very, very thirsty. I mean, I was guzzling water, coconut water. I was just very thirsty. I had no breast soreness. A lot of women say they have breast soreness. I had no breast soreness. No scent change, as I said, downstairs, none, no scent change to the vagina. I didn't feel any horniness. Some women said they felt very, very sexual when they got pregnant. I didn't feel that. I had very light desire to want to be intimate. So I started to just say, look, let me wait and see what's going to happen with my period. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did have bloating one night where my stomach was just really puffy, and then the next day my stomach was extremely flat, like it was flatter than normal. Let's see. Then I started to have PMS symptoms. So I was like, if I'm having PMS symptoms, maybe my period is going to come. So this is probably about four days before my period, about 4 or 5 days before my period is coming. I started to have the PMS symptoms, cramps, watery discharge. I was peeing a lot. I was feeling low pressure in my belly. This was excruciating. I felt a very excruciating pressure down low, like almost inside the vagina. That was weird. And then my appetite increased. So all month I couldn't eat and was eating soup, and then all of a sudden I was able to eat. I was able to even eat meat. I ate chicken. So as the end of the month is coming, same thing, extreme back pain. I didn't see no bleeding. I didn't see no spotting. And I waited until January 21st, 22nd. My period was supposed to come according to the app. My period did not come on the 21st. My period did not come on the 22nd. And by the 23rd, 24th, that's when I started to bleed. I woke up one day, went to the bathroom, woke up one day, woke up on that day, went to the bathroom, I wiped myself, and that's where I saw blood. Now, this blood was a bright red orange. I found that strange. I never really see my blood look like that. Oh yes, the day before my period came, I got in the shower. I was taking a shower and my vision became very blurry and I almost passed out in the shower. And the room was spinning. I could barely see. So I said, I live alone. I can't fall in this tub and crack my head. I do have an uncle who lives downstairs from me, but he's mentally ill. He wouldn't be able to help me. My cell phone is not in the bathroom. I need to run to my room. This was very, very scary. So I guess I was maybe at the end of the miscarriage and then the period was going to come the next day. So I jumped out the shower, ran to my room, cut on the fan real fast, and I just laid on my bed until the room stopped spinning. And I had my phone just in case I had to call 911. This was very, very scary. I had not almost fainted since I experienced that back in 2016 and 2019 when I had been bleeding for 6 months. That's the only time, and that made sense because I was losing white blood cells and things like that. And when you lose a lot of blood, of course you're gonna pass out. So I was like, yo, what is going on, God? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I about to pass out? And I heard other women say that when they were pregnant, they were about to pass out. And I heard women who were experiencing a miscarriage say felt like they were about to pass out. Bad cramps still, just really, really bad cramps. And that day I just ate bread. It says I ate bread. I slept for 3 hours straight. I drank water. And then when I woke up 3 hours later, I was still in my bed with my robe on, soaking wet. I fell asleep. And I felt much, much better when I got up. Bad cramps, light diarrhea. I was using the bathroom every 30 minutes. And before the period actually came, it says I saw a yellow discharge. I peed a few times through the night, and then early in that morning is when I wiped myself and saw the red orange color blood, and I said, okay, this must be my period. Let's see what it says. So while I had this period was different. And some women can actually still be pregnant in having these experiences, these symptoms, because this could be her last period before the next month, where she's not going to see her period the following month. So just because you get your period, don't think that you may miscarried or you may not be pregnant, basically. Okay, always wait until the following month, because there are some women who still get their one last period. They say, oh, you gotta miss your period. There are women who still menstruate and they're pregnant, or they have that one last period within that month. So I went on, I had my period. This period only lasted about 3 days. This period was very light. It was different. It was painful, but it was just light. Like the bleeding was light, and it only lasted for about 3 days. Normally my period would last about 6 days. It lasted about 3 days, and my next couple of periods felt weird too. So February's period was weird. March was weird. And just like maybe last month, my period feels normal. It's gotten lighter since January, but the next couple of periods after that, it felt more intense. Like almost like the body is cleaning itself out. I was in a lot of pain and I was bleeding very heavy in February period, March period, and April period, definitely. But yeah, so with that being said, take heed to all these symptoms. Do not ignore them. And I'm still healing from this. I'm still trying to figure out why this happened to me. Why didn't the pregnancy stick? But a lot of times the body will see the pregnancy as a foreign object, being that a lot of women, you never been pregnant before, your body feels like it's under attack and it could end up miscarrying that pregnancy before it even has a chance to develop. One thing that I do like is that there are many women who had chemical pregnancies and they still went on to have successful pregnancies. It's almost as if that first pregnancy kind of like prepares the body and goes, oh, okay, it's safe. This is normal. This person is just conceived a child, basically. I'm currently not trying to get pregnant. I am not planning to try to get pregnant again. It's something that I'm not mentally ready. It's almost like a fear. So you are going to feel kind of fearful. And I really commend women who just like have a chemical pregnancy and then they go right back out there and they get pregnant, But that is just something that I am not trying to do. I wasn't planning to get pregnant, so I'm not going to try to actively get pregnant. He doesn't have any children. Clearly, I don't have any children. He does want children, so it's something emotionally that I don't want to get into. And if the second pregnancy that I have doesn't stick, I don't think mentally at this moment in my life I can handle that. But it is my goal to have a child before 45. Women are having children a lot older now, but 45 is my mark, basically. He's younger, he's 37. So, he has time, whether it's him and I are going to have kids together or he can move on and have children with somebody else. But this experience, I do not know how women go through multiple. I watched a video of a woman who went through 8 chemical pregnancies before conceiving her daughter. And this is a lot mentally. I'm telling you, I was thinking about this, and some people don't even really consider, oh, that wasn't a life. It's a life. Instantly, you feel it. It was as if, like, when I knew I was pregnant, I can feel the spirit of that child. But as soon as I miscarried, it was like an empty feeling. You feel it. It also made me think about abortion and how easily people have abortions. I'm not being judgmental, but I don't know how people just, casually just get pregnant and like, oh, it's okay, I'll just take plan B, or it's okay, I'll just go to the abortion clinic. I never want to experience this ever again. I never want to have to experience getting pregnant and then having to lose that child of never even developing, So yeah, this emotionally has really, really did a number on me. It's not easy. But at the same time, getting pregnant does make you feel more womanly. It's strange. It's so strange, And I feel like more of like a spirit mama. I feel like I am a mother in the spirit realm. Maybe not in the physical realm, but I'm a mama in the spirit realm. You do feel more womanly, and you feel like a reject because your body rejected that pregnancy. But what's really interesting is I'm a rainbow baby. My mother actually carried a baby for 9 months, and the baby died during delivery. My brother, Michael Jr., died a year before I was born, and my mom tried again, and I'm here. So that might be my story. I just wanted to share these symptoms with you, and also it's going to be spiritual experiences too. You know, the lack of dreamings, my friend having a dream of me pregnant, you know, the men flirting, and the feeling of feeling life in you but then feeling empty after the miscarriage. It really makes me look at life differently and to be more cautious. And it's going to take a while to heal from this, but if you've gone through a chemical pregnancy, I wish you just baby dust on you, that you will get your child that you want. And I wish that for me too, if that is God's will. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the best, and I wish you healing as well. God bless. Comment below, what were your experiences with miscarriages or a chemical pregnancy miscarriage? I would love to hear about it. Talk to you soon.